LeBron James strikes a familiar pose after his last-second shot beat the Raptors Saturday night in Cleveland. Ken Blaze, USA Today Sports. The Celtics and Cavaliers both took care of business, cementing 3-0 series leads. Get all the info you need below, and catch up on Friday's games here. Schedule, pre-game reading, comments section Q. And the Raptors are toast. After OG Anunoby tied Game 3 with a three-pointer with 8.8 seconds remaining, LeBron James found a way to inflict even more pain on a Raptors franchise and fan base that has endured so much already at his hands. James took the inbounds pass and casually dribbled the ball up the left side of the court, with Anunoby, a rookie who has done an admirable job against James, checking him. James, though, knew exactly what he wanted to do. He kept dribbling towards the baseline and, at the right moment, he leapt in the air and flicked the ball toward the rim with his right hand. His aim couldn't have been more true. The ball softly kissed off the glass and fell through the hoop as the buzzer sounded, giving Cleveland a 105-103 win over Toronto that sent the sellout crowd at Quicken Loans Arena into a frenzy and left the Raptors frozen and in shock. James finished with 38 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists and 3 steals on 14 for 26 shooting in 41 minutes for Cleveland, while Kevin Love added 21 points and 16 rebounds and Kyle Korver added 18. Kyle Lowry had 27 points and 7 assists in 41 minutes to lead Toronto, but the story of the game for the Raptors will be coach Dwayne Casey's decision to bench star guard DeMar DeRozan for the final 14 minutes of the game. With the win, Cleveland now has a 3-0 lead in the series, and is one victory away from both a second straight sweep over the Raptors, and knocking them out of the playoffs for a third straight year. If Cleveland gets that win Monday in Game 4, the Raptors will have a long summer ahead of them, one in which James, and his repeated heroics against them, will undoubtedly be a recurring nightmare. A 15-6 run for the Raptors to start the fourth quarter has Toronto back within 7, 87-80, with a little over 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The Raptors have fought admirably, despite trailing the entire game, to give themselves a chance here in the fourth quarter. A loss, obviously, would all but end Toronto's season. Even a win would leave the Raptors in a tough spot. That's what happens when a team loses the first 2 games on its home court. But at least they'd have a chance in the series. The next 8 minutes will determine if the Raptors can give themselves one. Jonas Valanciunas simply can't guard Kevin Love. So why did Raptors coach Dwayne Casey stick with his starting lineup featuring that very matchup? He just subbed in Serge Ibaka for Valanciunas, but it does make you wonder why the move wasn't to start Ibaka and bring Valanciunas off the bench. It would seem that having Valanciunas in the game against Tristan Thompson, and Ibaka against Love, would make more sense. That said, it might not matter given how Love is playing. After scoring a playoff-high 31 points in Game 2, Love has 19 points and 13 rebounds so far in Game 3 as the lead has been pushed to 14 through 3 quarters. LeBron James is playing like someone who smells blood in the water. With Cleveland holding a 2-0 lead over Toronto, the Cavaliers have a chance to all but end this series with one more victory. James is doing his best to get that win. At halftime, Cleveland leads 55-40, a lead that was built by the Cavaliers going on a 16-4 run over the first 6:53 of the game, and then going on a 16-2 run over the final 5:07 of the first half. That's a 32-6 advantage for Cleveland over exactly 12 minutes. James, as usual, has been at the heart of all of it. He has 15 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal and 1 block in 21 minutes. Kevin Love added 12 points and 11 rebounds, while Kyle Korver had 12 points, 2 rebounds and 2 assists. DeMar DeRozan, on the other hand, has been awful. He has 3 points on 1 for 9 shooting, and is a game-worst -22. CJ Miles actually leads the Raptors in scoring with 8 points off the bench. Having lost the first 2 games of their Eastern Conference semifinal series at home, Toronto made a lineup change as the series shifted to Cleveland for Game 3. Fred VanVleet, Toronto's superb sixth man, entered the starting lineup, with Raptors coach Dwayne Casey choosing to bring Serge Ibaka off the bench instead. The small lineup didn't exactly work as Casey intended, with Cleveland jumping out to a 16-4 lead. But the Raptors managed to cut the Cavaliers' lead to 24-19 after one thanks to a 15-8 run to end the quarter, largely executed with Ibaka playing center. After failing to get a block in either of the first 2 games of the series, Ibaka had 2 in the first quarter alone to help spark Toronto's run to get back into the game. In a wild, wacky and thrilling game, the Celtics emerged with a heart-stopping 101-98 overtime victory over the Sixers in Game 3 of their Eastern Conference semifinal. The win gives the Celtics a 3-0 lead in this best-of-7 series, a lead no team has ever given up in an NBA playoff series. Boston looked like it won in regulation when Philadelphia committed a turnover that led to a Jaylen Brown dunk with 1.8 seconds left to give the Celtics a 2-point lead. But Marco Bellinelli hit a jumper in the corner right in front of the Sixers bench to tie the game and send it to overtime. Philadelphia then looked like it was in control when it led by 1 with the ball with 42.5 seconds left. But Joel Embiid missed a shot in the lane, and when Ben Simmons got the offensive rebound, he chose to go up for a putback instead of pulling the ball back out, and missed as the shot clock was turned off. Boston then got the rebound and, after bringing the ball up and calling timeout, Marcus Morris threw a perfect inbounds pass to Al Horford, who had expertly sealed his defender, Robert Covington, at the rim, allowing Horford to catch the ball and lay it in to give the Celtics a 99-98 lead. Embiid then tried to throw the ball into Simmons after a Philadelphia timeout, but Horford then stole the ball, and after getting fouled, made a pair of free throws with 3 seconds left for the final margin. Bellinelli then got one final chance to save the Sixers a second time, but his 30-foot heave, a better look than it seemed like Philadelphia could get given the Sixers had no timeouts, hit the back of the rim and bounced away, giving the Celtics a wild win and pushing the Sixers to the brink of elimination. Jason Tatum led all scorers with 24 points for the Celtics, and was plus 24 in 41 minutes. Embiid had 22 points and 19 rebounds but went 10 for 26, with Boston's plan of single covering him and sticking to Philadelphia's perimeter players, none of whom can create their own shot, working like a charm once again. What a turn of events in Philadelphia. Just when it looked like a catastrophic turnover by J.J. Redick was going to hand Boston a 3-0 lead in this Eastern Conference semifinal, the Sixers inbounded the ball with 1.8 seconds to go to Marco Bellinelli, who buried a corner jumper right in front of Philadelphia's bench to tie the score 89-89 at the end of regulation. That wasn't the end of the strangeness, however. Because it looked initially like Bellinelli shot a three-pointer, his foot was clearly over the line, confetti began falling from the ceiling of Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, and people began to rush the floor. The start of overtime was delayed because of the confetti still falling from the ceiling, which ESPN's Cassidy Hubbard said had to stop completely before the referees can restart the game for health and safety reasons. Eventually, the teams were able to resume this wild game. Joel Embiid has picked up another body in this game, this time Al Horford, with a huge dunk to tie the game at 83 late in the fourth. Embiid may need a couple more of these to pull out a win for the Sixers. The Sixers have less than 12 minutes to save their season. More stifling defense from the Celtics has tied early in the fourth quarter. Philadelphia has been held under 40% from the field, and largely kept out of transition. The Sixers have 16 fast break points, but 6 of those came in one spurt right at the end of the second quarter. The result has been the Celtics controlling the pace of play throughout, and leaving this game in doubt heading into the final minutes. Down 2-0 in the series, it's do-or-die time for the Sixers. Given how this game has played out, whether that will equal success for them is very much in doubt. The Sixers made a big run late in the first half to grab control of this game. Why? Because they've begun to push the tempo at every opportunity, and good things have followed. Philadelphia now leads at halftime, 51-48, thanks to that 13-0 run, powered by some stops defensively, and then using those stops to create easy looks offensively, the kinds that Boston's outstanding half-court defense completely thwarted earlier in both the game and the series. Joel Embiid leads the Sixers with 11 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal and 1 block in 16 minutes, having taken 13 shots, 5 more than any other player on the Sixers, another indication of Brad Stevens being willing to let Embiid shoot while not letting anyone else get going. Ben Simmons, meanwhile, has 8 points and 5 assists on 4 for 6 shooting, and looks far more engaged than he did in Game 2. Both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have 3 fouls for Boston, which will be something to monitor in the second half. Tatum has 11 points for Celtics, and is their only player in double figures. Boston was outscored 26-16 in the 7-12. Tatum sat the bench to end the first half after picking up his 3rd foul. Philadelphia has a 12-3 edge in fast break points, and has scored 10 points on 8 Boston turnovers. Joel Embiid just ended Aaron Baines' In the first half, Ben Simmons pushed the ball up court, hit a trailing Embiid as he came lumbering down the lane behind him, and the 7'2" center rose up and absolutely demolished Baines, who futilely tried to get in Embiid's way when it would have been in his best interest to simply get the hell out of the way. The result, as the Sixers' Twitter account happily recounted, was Baines being posterized in one of many dunks not only in the playoffs, but the entire 2017-18 season. Big moment for the Celtics, with Jason Tatum picking up his third foul with more than 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. Tatum, who leads Boston with 11 points, has taken on an even bigger role than he did during the regular season in the wake of Kyrie Irving's season-ending injury. His production has helped Boston build a 35-25 lead, as he's gone 5 for 6 from the field to go with 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Brad Stevens initially left Tatum in the game, but just took him out with 7 minutes to go in the first half. Stevens will likely try to keep Tatum on the bench here in hopes of avoiding him picking up a 4th foul before halftime. Through 9 quarters of Sixers-Celtics, Boston coach Brad Stevens has clearly stuck to a specific strategy: let Joel Embiid do his thing, and try to limit everyone else. Embiid already has 9 shots early in the second quarter, going 4 for 9, with 8 points to go with 6 rebounds and a blocked shot. Despite that production, Boston is winning 28-22. Why? Because the rest of the Sixers are 5 for 20, including 2 for 10 from 3. If the Celtics can limit the others, for the Sixers to those kinds of numbers, they'll be content with leaving Embiid one-on-one for the rest of the series. He will put up plenty of production that way, but if no one else does, it doesn't matter. After Ben Simmons completely flopped in Game 2 of the Sixers' Eastern Conference semifinal series with the Celtics, all eyes will be on him as the series shifts back to Philadelphia. The past 2 days have been spent dissecting everything Simmons did, or, in reality, didn't do, in his 31 minutes on the court inside TD Garden. He scored 1 point while going 0 for 4 from the field with 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 turnovers and was a game-worst -23, looking lethargic and wasn't nearly as aggressive as he normally is. This is a huge moment for Simmons. Philadelphia came into this series as the favorite to advance, given Boston's myriad injuries. Now, after the Celtics took the first 2 games and Simmons was a no-show on a national stage, he'll need to return to the form he's shown throughout the regular season in the first few games of the playoffs, as opposed to his no-show in Game 2. If he does, the Sixers can make this a series again, even trailing 2-0. If he doesn't, well, Boston will be heading to the Eastern Conference Finals. Schedule: Boston Celtics 101, Philadelphia 76ers 98, OT, Celtics lead 3-0, Cleveland Cavaliers 105, Toronto Raptors 103, Cavaliers lead 3-0. Additional reading: Bucks will make Becky Hammon first woman to interview for NBA head coaching job. Donovan Mitchell on dunk vs. Rockets. I just happened to be up there. Dragging these flawed Cavs to the NBA Finals would be LeBron James's most remarkable feat. Charles Barkley apologizes for saying he wanted to punch Draymond Green in the face. Steph Curry comes off bench to vault Warriors to 2-0 lead. Raptors lost a game they had to win. Global ambassador starts war. Drake and Kendrick Perkins skirmish in Toronto. NBA podcast, USA Today's Sam Amick on the West playoffs. What's next for Paul George in Portland? Why is there a snake on the Philadelphia 76ers court? Impressive as it was, the Pacers' Victor Oladipo isn't satisfied with his breakout season. John Wall wants the Wizards to overhaul their roster. They likely won't be able to. The Miami Heat bet big on Hassan Whiteside. It appears they made a mistake. Now what? The one-and-done rule is on the way out because of NBA money, not NCAA morals. It feels like the end of an era for the San Antonio Spurs after first-round sweep. Blazers' next steps could include trading away their stars. On my best games I was medicated. Matt Barnes on his game day use of marijuana. Adam Silver, one of the WNBA's problems is that not enough young women pay attention to it. NBA, Twitch reach deal on 2K League streaming rights. Comment Q.